May I come in, sir?
Yes, please come in.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon.
Good
Sir.
afternoon. Mr. Kshitij Verma.
Yes, sir.
Okay. International economics, public finance, microeconomics, macroeconomics, Indian economy. These were your subjects in
Graduation, sir.
graduation, and for civil services, what was the optional?
It's economics only.
Economics.
Yes, sir.
Economics is supposed to be a very tough subject for civil services.
I don't believe, sir, because I had a background in it. So most of the subjects were already studied.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it your first chance, or earlier also you had appeared?
So this is my first interview, but it's third attempt.
Third attempt.
Yes, sir.
So how many marks did you score in economics in earlier attempts?
So paper 1 I got 160 and paper 2 I got around 150.
150, 160.
Yes, sir. But I got less marks in GS4 and ethics and GS3 as well last year.
अभी सिलेक्शन कितने में हो जा रहा है?
53%,
प्रॉपर सिविल सर्विस, प्रॉपर आईएएस में?
53%, 54%.
उतना ही है ऑलमोस्ट जो पहले होता था ऑलमोस्ट उतना ही है
53-4%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Microeconomics, macroeconomics. What is the difference between the two?
So in macroeconomics, we study from the perspective of whole of an economy. Like we study GDP, we study unemployment in the from the wholesome perspective. While in microeconomics, we go into the particular markets. We study one market at a time. Like for consumer market, we are studying. We study producer market. So it's the perspective of the study. That's the
What is
difference.
Keynesian economics?
Keynesian economics. So Keynesian economics mainly dealt with the aggregate demand. It was a revolution after the classical theories. Classical theories actually didn't provide any explicit theory for aggregate demand. Keynesian, after the Great Depression of 1929, he propounded that the major reason for Great Depression was the lack in aggregate demand. So through his theory he gave.
Okay. How do you see the rupee getting devaluated?
So currently, Indian rupee has devaluated by almost 10% point. This is because Federal Reserve of USA is increasing the interest rate. And I believe it's because of the volatilities in the market, that's the reason. That's the basic reason, because capital outflows are happening as interest rates have been hiked in world over to combat inflation. And moreover, because of rupee depreciation, our imports have become a little expensive.
What about exports?
So exports can become more competitive if rupee depreciates, but this is not the case where exports have become competitive. It's mainly because of market volatilities, largely caused because of capital outflows from India.
How about trade deficit of India?
So trade deficit of India in second quarter of last year was around 4.4% of GDP. We have a large trade deficit with China as well, because
How much is the trade deficit with China?
so it's $101 billion. Recently it was released.
How much was the how much has been the export and how much has been the import?
To China, sir? So from China we import worth around $118 billion and we export only $17 billion. Sir. That's
थोड़ा सा
the
बढ़ी हुई है figure 130.
So the total trade is 130, but exports is 118 and our exports is 117. $17.
Just check up the
billion
figures because I believe it is 130 is the
So it's the
import.
total trade, sir.
Huh?
So as far as I know, it's the total trade is $135 billion, and 117 is our imports from China.
Just check up the figures
sure.
because
Sure,
I
sir.
read somewhere that
Sure, sir.
our imports are around 130 crores, a little over than 130. And
Maybe, sir. I'll
our
check.
exports are around 30 crores. So that way it is the difference of 100 crores. Just check up. Maybe
I'll,
I am wrong.
I'll check.
But please check.
I'll
up.
surely check, sir.
Please.
Kshitij, you belong to Jharkhand, no?
Yes, sir.
So what is the origin of the name Jharkhand?
So Jharkhand is comprised of two words, Jhar and Khand. It's mainly means land of forest.
Land of forest.
Yes, sir.
But this word Jhar has a meaning, no? Jhar?
So Jhar is Jhadiya and all.
Jhadiya.
Jhadiya.
So you have a lot of Jhars in
So
Jharkhand?
we have almost 29% of state is under tree and forest cover.
Okay, okay. So you take interest in Vipassana meditation.
Yes, sir. I'm practicing.
Tell me something about it.
So Vipassana meditation is meditation of self-observation. It is mainly it has been mainly taught by S.N. Goenka sir in India, and moreover it teaches oneself to become equanimous. There's a term in it. There's samta. He teaches individual to become equanimous by when we self-observe ourselves, we taking into account that there is impermanence to everything. Nothing is permanent. Then we gradually we become into the
Balancing the mind with the body, or how? No.
So balancing the mind with the body, not particularly. So it's balancing the mind, not
Balancing the
not
mind.
not
the body.
not getting we not observing habits, observing thing. It's not getting affected by any situation that happens around us.
What are the other kinds of meditation?
So there are different kinds. There's mindful meditation, like there's Kriya Yoga, then there's transcendental meditation, then there is focus meditation where we focus on particular object. Then there is through physical meditation like yoga and all. Through physical exercises we also concentrate.
What is the role of meditation in the field of medicine?
Meditation in the field of medicine. So particularly I'm not very aware of it, but it calms the mind, and most of the illness like anxiety, mental depression, these issues can be handled through meditation.
You may be reading that, I don't know, you may have read also. You talked about transcendental meditation.
Yes, sir.
It is being used in United States and
Yes,
Europe to control hypertension.
Okay, sir.
So, read about
Yes,
that.
sir.
Interesting.
Oh, sure, sir.
So, we'll come to another, your area actually, demonetization.
Okay.
Now, what are your thoughts? It happened in 2016?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
And it was in the news also.
Yes, sir. So it was in the news because Supreme Court gave a verdict
Okay.
that the government step was proportionate enough to the cause.
What are your personal thoughts? Was it right? Was it right?
So the intent was right. However, the preparation should have been a little more done.
In what way?
The currency should have been printed. Our banking system should have been prepared priorly as well, because a lot of chaos happened while exchanging the currencies. Moreover,
Were we able to stem the flow of illegal currencies, or
so almost 99%
black money, or no?
Almost 99% of cash came back to the system. So we cannot say that it was very successful in curbing the issue of black money.
Okay. Now tell me, why is the dollar so strong compared to other currencies of the world?
So because first reason is that America is
Sorry to interrupt. In yesterday or today's newspaper, there was a item that US's loan amount has increased humongously.
yes, sir.
Still, the dollar is
Strong.
so strong. So that is his
My
question.
question is that, and since you are an economist,
Yes, sir.
I mean, studied economics, you will be able to answer my question in a better way, maybe.
Yes, sir. So actually, US is seen by the investors as the most preferred destination, even in times of recession or in times of economic uncertainties. Most of the investments go outflow to the USA and they get parked. So in situations like these, like we are facing a recessionary trend, the dollar becomes strengthened. Moreover, sir, the cause of dollar being a vehicle currency in the international market is that most of the currencies are pegged to it. Like they trade the trading part, the international trade that happens, it happens mostly in dollars.
What about the oil trade?
So oil trade, it
In what?
it happens
In which
in dollars.
currencies?
So we are doing it with Russia and
No,
we
not
are-
Russia. I'm not Russia.
Okay, sir.
I'm talking about the Middle Eastern countries, which export oil. OPEC. I'm talking about OPEC.
So with Saudi, it was in dollars, sir.
Okay.
As far as I know, I'm not
Okay.
very sure.
So that's why the dollar is strong.
So that's the reason.
Find out more about it. Very interesting,
sir.
by the way.
Okay,
This
sir.
why the dollar is strong. Okay, we'll go briefly to IMF and World Bank.
Okay, sir.
Do you think they are, properly structured? I mean, they are representative of the world communities, or no? Or it is balanced on one side in favor of somebody, or
So-
some countries?
So they are not very representative to the underdeveloping as well as developing world. Moreover, in the IMF, the United States has some kind of de facto veto. It has, so decisions of underdeveloped or developing countries often go unheard.
So what can be done about it actually?
So it should be reformed, sir. It should be.
How do you reform?
That's the major concern, sir. We need to bring in consensus with different countries. That's the only way out, I believe.
Okay, BRICS came up, I think a few years ago. Has it served any purpose so far, BRICS?
So yes, sir, BRICS is a coalition of developing countries mainly. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, sir. So it is providing an alternative to these institutions, like it has national NDFP, it has the bank which invests in infrastructural projects and all. Moreover, it is taking different projects as well, like it is Brasilia Declaration. There was, I'm not able to recall.
Okay, read about
I'll
it,
read
BRICS. My last question to you, Kshitij. Where do we stand now in the race towards a permanent seat in the UN Security Council?
So I believe we are a very strong
Very
contender.
close?
We are a very strong
We are
contender.
marching ahead in the race, or
So we are a very strong contender. And
but some countries are not supporting us.
yes, sir, like China and all, they are not supporting us.
So what happens then?
So we need to diplomatically, we need to work on getting that.
But they have veto. One permanent member has veto. Even
Yes.
if say Russia or France or UK, they support us, or US even supports us, but China will
China
always
has
use veto.
Yes, sir.
So how do we circumvent that?
So we need to build a global perception that
Do you agree with the view? This has been actually in the news actually now, that why not abolish this veto system altogether? Don't have the veto system. Why do you have the veto system? What for?
So I believe veto should be there.
Why should you have veto?
So, but it should be more representative. UNSC should be more representative. More countries should be there if we retain the veto.
So which other countries do you think should be there?
So India should be there. Moreover, Japan should be there. Representatives from Africa should be there. Like
What about Germany?
Germany should also be there. So it's a major economy, fourth largest economy.
Thank you, Kshitij.
So, Kshitij, you belong to Jharkhand.
Yes.
So, how we have the division of the states?
Sorry, sir.
Division of the states.
Bifurcation of Jharkhand and Bihar.
Bifurcation. So,
Reasons. So I'm not
Reason
able
is-
to- How has been?
constitutionally, how do we proceed for the bifurcation of the states?
Constitutionally, sir. So, bifurcation of the state, it's. Sorry, sir, I have to revise about it.
Because it came, Bihar was bifurcated and Jharkhand was formed. And at the same time, Uttarakhand was
Chhattisgarh and
separated
Uttarakhand
from Uttar Pradesh and Chhattisgarh from the Madhya Pradesh. And initially, Gujarat came from Maharashtra. So there must be
Constitutional amendment.
act. So, and you basically you have this shaping India 2030.
SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals.
So, say socially, economically,
environment.
What are the three important factors for 2030? Socially, how will you expect 2030 as
Goals to reach. So socially, we need to make women empowerment. There's a lot of issues with the women, like there's a gender pay gap, there's work ceiling. Work ceiling is also there. The representation in parliament as well as legislatures is also limited. Moreover, in the judiciary as well, and senior most positions, women judges are limited. That's the first thing we can do. Second is there is a lot of multidimensional poverty in India. Though we have overcome extreme poverty up to a great extent, however, we see the multidimensionality of the poverty. That's a concern. Moreover, sir, thirdly, there is also the issue of large demographic dividend, then, and consequently the issue of unemployment. So unemployment is also a big concern for India. And in terms of economics, so economics, we have economics issue, like there are global headwinds that often undermine our development process, like the present challenge of recession that is upcoming. Moreover, so secondly, there is also the issue of inequality. Inequality of income is also very persistent in India. That's the major issues.
If we see the scenario of the entire country, or even if you see the scenario of the world, wherever there is tribals, country also, and in the entire world also, the tribal population is there, maximum forest or sometime desert is also there, mineral resources are also there, and the violence is there.
Yes, sir.
So how to solve this jugglery? Because the tribals, they are the poor people, the maximum forest or the desert or the mineral resources are there, and then the violence is there, and then
so
the same thing is with your state.
yes, sir. So we can make the process of economic development in a way that it percolates to the tribal society as well. In this way, we can handle the issue of Naxalism or the issue of extremism that happens in tribal societies. The development should not be limited to just mineral extraction or just heavy and large industries that do not actually employ the local people over there.
First, we should have the human development or the economic development, because the problem is if we start economic development and then human development, the people don't accept it. So first, whether we should have the human development,
So
because the tribal needs are very limited.
yes, sir.
So
For human development, we need adequate resources, and for that, economic development is necessary. However, just with economic development, we cannot ensure human development. I believe both should go hand in hand, sir. And presently, we are capable enough economically that we can provide all these human development support to tribal societies.
in Bihar, there is a problem for this water management.
Bihar, sir. Flood issues.
Water management, basically the issue is water management. Either at one time we have the excess of water, flooding is there, or on the other hand we don't have and the same issues with the Nepal. So what are the basically drawbacks we could not do it after 70, even after 75 years of the independence?
So I guess we have made, I'm not very aware of Bihar, but I guess we have made significant progress, and there is not that much issue. It's flooding is an issue, but the water crisis part, I believe we have worked in it. I'm not very sure about Bihar, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kshitij, what does Kshitij mean?
So Kshitij means horizon in Hindi,
Horizon.
where sun and earth appears to meet.
Okay. Jan Vishwas Bill.
Jan Vishwas Bill, yes.
Yeah, this was introduced in the last session of the parliament. That was the winter session.
Yes, sir.
So do you know about Jan Vishwas Bill, what exactly this bill was?
Yes, sir. It aimed to decriminalize almost 180 economic offences from almost 42 regulatory laws.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And we're related with how many ministries? You are right, whatever.
I'm not aware of ministries, but
Anyway,
it
it is 19.
Okay, so
Okay,
19.
otherwise two figures are okay, no problem. So, what is this private member bill? This was also introduced in this session only, winter session of the parliament.
Private member bill, I'm not related to economics, sir?
Not exactly related with economics. Okay, let's come to economics then. Huh? Okay. So, first thing that is included in your this hobbies also, organized 2 national conferences on theme Shaping India 2030. My question is that what changes would you like to see in India 2030? Your dream, it could be what changes you want.
So, first change I want is that India, a developed part of India, should not be concentrated in few areas or should not be concentrated to few sections of the society. It should be very inclusive.
One.
Second is that we have to work on our comparative advantage, which is our labor. So we have to give them a good standard of living. That's the second I wish to have. That's the second objective. So a good standard of living, a developed country, which we will reach.
Okay, what efforts have been made by the government so far for inclusive growth?
So inclusive growth, we have making efforts such as financial inclusion mission was there. Almost 45 crore Jan Dhan accounts were created. That was one of the major part. Moreover, so we are also developing infrastructures such as digital infrastructures and all. It is also being developed in the Naxal areas of Jharkhand. So in that way, we can, through digitalization, we can provide more opportunities of education, health connectivity and all. Infrastructure and physical infrastructure is also being developed, such as roads and road, houses like PM Awas Yojana, PM Gram Sadak Yojana. Through this, we can connect the rural areas to mainstream society.
Okay, FTA, you might be knowing FTA. So with which countries we have signed FTAs, and not only signed, these have become operational too during say about 1 year or so. And with which countries we are going to sign and going to implement FTAs say within a year or so.
So recently we have signed with UAE and Australia.
That's right. And these have become operational?
So I'm not sure about operational, but we have signed.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
And then with how many more countries we are going to sign FTA within say about 1 year or so?
So this I'm not aware of, sir.
UK?
UK we are in discussion since very long time.
EU?
Sir. EU.
European Union?
EU is also in the list, sir.
Canada?
Not particularly aware of.
Okay. One question. PNB fraud, you might be very well aware of. PNB, yes, Punjab National Bank fraud.
Yes, sir.
So which were the main reasons that this fraud occurred?
So it was mainly a conflict of interest on the part of the CEO of Punjab National Bank. And it was mainly the lack of corporate governance. That's the major reason I could. Yes.
I tell you two main. Misuse of SWIFT. And another thing is
SWIFT, S-W-I-F-T.
Okay, sir. You know SWIFT?
Yes, sir.
So what is that SWIFT? It is an acronym. It stands for?
It stands for, just a minute, I'll recall. Society for Worldwide Interbanking Financial Transactions.
Not transaction, but rest is okay. Financial telecommunication.
Okay, sir.
So misuse of SWIFT was one of them. Another one was that ICI did not exercise its function properly. It did not bring it to the notice of the government and the bank that this is happening. Okay. So my question here is that Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act was enacted. So now you tell me, what do you mean by Fugitive Economic Offender, definition of this as included in that act?
So I'm not very particularly aware of the act.
Okay. Then simultaneously an amendment was made in the Companies Act to have a reporting authority, what is the name of the reporting authority, and under which section that amendment was made in the Companies Act?
I'm not very aware of it.
Okay,
Sorry,
no
sir.
problem. 132,
Okay, so I'll read about it.
subsection 1 was added, and this independent authority was created, NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority.
Okay, I was not. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Now, there was some controversy related with this Samet Shikhar in Giridih district of your
Yes, sir.
state. What exactly that was?
So it was mainly protested by Jain communities that Jharkhand government actually decided to host that particular spot, the Samet Shikhar, or that Mount Parasnath mountain as a whole as a tourist spot.
Good.
So Jain communities were opposing that by declaring it as a tourist spot, it would undermine the sanctity of that place. Moreover, so the Santhal community of Jharkhand.
Yeah, subsequently that problem also
Yes,
was
sir.
there. Conflict between these two
Yes,
Santhal
sir.
community. What was the conflict?
So actually, Santhal community also worship that mountain. It's the major deity. It's Morang Buru, they say. And they celebrate a festival over there where they actually hunt animals and they cook non-vegetarian diet. So that's the major issue with the Jain community, that it undermines the sanctity of that place.
Okay, so one thing related with declaring that particular place as tourist place, that was done by the state government. Similarly, what was done by the central government, that was also under the controversy, and which is the step that has been taken back?
So it was also declared as a environment zone, special eco zone.
Eco-sensitive
Yes, sir.
zone. Okay. Now, my question is that if a person has contested the election as an independent candidate and he is an independent, can he be the chief minister of his state?
Yes, sir. There have been instances in Jharkhand only. There was Madhu Koda.
Instances or instance?
So there have been other instances where independent candidates have been the chief minister, sir. Not
Anyway,
limited to-
in your state,
Madhu Koda was.
Instance, Mr. Madhu Koda. So how did that happen?
So he got so
When an independent candidate can become the chief minister of a state or a prime minister of the country?
so ideally they
Think
should.
over it. You can tell about this. Think over it.
So ideally they shouldn't, because the
Ideally is different thing. Can we say if he musters the support of more than 50% of the MLAs, if he is having support, then he can? Can we say like that?
yes, so there have been instances they can become.
Not instances. One instance from your state, and there was one more in some other state, but he could not prove his majority on the floor of the house, and so government fell within.
So, but
A
it
week
was, he
or
was
so.
chief minister for some time. I'm just not able to recall the state.
Okay, related with SDG. So where SDG ranking of your state?
So we are ranked at one of the bottommost position at 28th position.
Why so? So low?
So there are major reasons. We are in poverty aspect, we are not performing very good. Moreover, the environmental aspects is also a concern. Land degradation is very rampant over there.
Okay, you have attended army and
Military training.
military training camp. What is this AK 203?
AK 203.
203, that's right. AK 203.
So it's the modified version of AK rifles.
AK 47 rifle. So where it is being manufactured, and could it be an example of make in India, for India and for the world?
So I'm not very sure of where it is.
Okay,
being
thank you.
manufactured, sir.
Kshitij, you can wait outside for a minute. We'll call you in.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Come in, Kshitij. First thing I noticed now, before you sit down, you have to seek the permission
Okay,
of the
sir.
board,
Okay.
Like you can't just sit down,
Okay, sir.
When you enter a room,
Okay, sir.
before you sit down, you have to, unless they ask you to sit down, please sit. Then you
Okay.
sit, okay?
Okay, sir.
And then, of course, the coat, you rightly removed the button, that's okay. That's the standard one. Now, you did quite
So I
well.
should greet the board from distance or from near the chair?
I mean, visible. It should be visible when you greet everyone. It's not that you do it near the door or something. When you come inside and when you can see all other members, then you can greet them.
Okay.
Well, I think your assessment, our assessment about you is very good. You did pretty well. We have given you about 65%. So that is good. But you can still improve your score. I mean, you can, aim around 70 or even 75, depending on how your preparation goes in the next few days.
Yes, sir.
So now a few suggestions from our side. First thing is about Jharkhand. I asked you just a question, simple one, why is it called Jharkhand, for example. But, very interesting things, because I do, a little bit of research on some states, I like to read, So the other day I was reading and I found the old name of Jharkhand during the Mughal time was Kukara.
Kukra. Yes,
Kukra,
sir. Because
have
of
you heard of
diamond.
it?
Yes, sir. Because
So
of diamond.
Kukara, the old name of,
Diamond that was found in Sank River.
that is the name of the diamond.
Actually, diamond was found near Sank River. That's why it was called.
रिवर कौन सी
Kukra.
बताई आपने?
Sank.
Sank.
Sank. S-A-N-K-H.
But interesting things. See, my point of saying this is that you should read more about your own state.
Okay, sir.
As many facts you can gather about the state.
May I please ask a question? So actually, I knew this fact, that the Kukra and all. So how do I relate to that Jharkhand?
No, I'm not relating. What I'm saying is somebody might ask you.
sir.
I mean, it's not that,
Yes, sir.
Okay,
sir.
Maybe you will not be asked this question. But what I'm saying is you should know
Yes, sir.
that this is the old name of
Yes, sir.
your state.
So before that also it was called Karkhand.
Yeah. So
Because of Tropic of Cancer
yeah,
that
Tropic
passes.
of Cancer, yeah.
Yes,
Very
sir.
interesting, like each state has something unique about it, as each state. So second point is meditation, and I asked you about types of meditation, and I think my last question was the role of meditation, or in medicine, for example. And it plays a very important role, by the way. Read about it because somebody may ask you this.
Okay, sir.
Third is, since I'm a student of economics and economics is your optional subject, economic survey will be out, economic survey, and the
31st,
budget
okay.
also by the time you appear at the interview.
Yes,
So
mine
do-
too is on 2nd of February only.
So, I mean, whatever you can gather about
Yes,
these
sir,
two
sure.
things, please prepare yourself well.
Yes, sir.
Then I
I
asked,
think it is very important for him because his
It's
interview
first
is on
February.
2nd.
Say, that's what I'm saying.
So you
should
should
prepare very
February,
well.
sir.
February.
Yes,
Okay.
बाकी जो करना है उससे पहले कर लो, उस समय तो केवल बजट करो.
Budget,
Yes,
budget
sir.
will be very
Very-
important. That'll be the focus actually,
Economic survey and budget.
Then, newspaper, I don't know which economic newspaper you're reading now.
So Economic Times I read.
Oh, that's good.
And
I mean, you can read
Life
Mint
Mint
if you
from
like,
Argus. Life
change.
Mint,
You can read even a Mint also if you want. Because basically for the economics, and then since you are a student of economics, keep track of the world economy. One question was asked about this China thing, China, trade.
Yes, sir.
China is important for us.
Yes,
We
sir.
have a huge volume of trade with China. So keep track of that,
Sure, sir.
our trade with China. I asked you a question about dollar. Do some research. You'll find very interesting answers, by the way.
Okay.
Not one answer, you will find 10 answers. Why the dollar is so strong.
Okay.
In spite of, all that is happening, but still dollar is okay, strong, Everyone thought probably a time will come when, because the American economy is not doing well.
No, sir. Yes.
But in spite of all that, the dollar
Dollar
is
is-
strong. So, keep track of that.
Sure, sir.
And then important international events happening, around the time of your interview or before little. Of course, there are some burning issues right now. For example, as you know, the Ukraine war is going on, Russia,
G20.
Ukraine. Keep track of that.
Sure.
And also what is happening in our immediate neighborhood, keep track of that. Because I think you have written Indian Foreign Service as your number 3 or
Number 3, sir.
Number 3.
Yes.
So there will be questions on that. There will be questions on our foreign policy even. Do you think it's going in the right direction? Or even a question is now being asked: what is nationalist internationalism?
Okay, sir.
The new
Yes, sir.
term. So they're talking about nationalist internationalism.
Okay.
We all have heard of internationalism,
Nationalism.
but now this is a new
Mix of two.
term. So anyway,
Yes, sir.
keep track of all these things. And I'm sure these suggestions would stand you in good state.
Thank you.
All the very best, Kshitij.
Thank you.
Any questions you have for us? Please go ahead.
So just one question that related to economic survey and budget only. So how much detailed should I prepare with, like budget I can prepare in one day, but economic survey is too bulky a book. And
The things which are in public domain,
the okay. Sir.
जैसे डॉलर वाला, ये सब पब्लिक डोमेन में हैं, जिसको और भी कैंडिडेट को भी जानना चाहिए, इकोनॉमिस्ट को तो जानना ही चाहिए.
Okay, sir.
Most of the questions these are in public domain, mainly those.
Okay, sir.
और बजट हाइलाइट्स, ऐसे इकोनॉमिक सर्वे का हाइलाइट्स,
Okay, sir.
वो तो
Presentation.
जितना भी उसे अच्छे से पढ़ सके अच्छा है.
ठीक है.
Like, say budget at a glance, like that. See everything. Economic survey also, there will be a synopsis kind of thing,
And the presentation
Yeah,
would also.
so you can always go through that. And even if you are not able to answer, but at least these are the points and you can always dwell on them during the course of the interview.
Okay, sir.
31st का
Economics is your
टाइम
good
उसी में ही
strength.
डिवोट करना, संसद टीवी, इकोनॉमिक सर्वे एंड बजट नेक्स्ट डे.
Yes, sir.
और कुछ नहीं इंटरव्यू से पहले, 2 दिन को इसी के लिए रखना.
ठीक है.
थोड़ा एनालिटिकल देख लेना, क्योंकि सर्वे में या बजट में अपार्ट फ्रॉम इंफॉर्मेशन गैदरिंग दे माइट आस्क यू सम एनालिसिस आल्सो अबाउट सर्टेन थिंग्स.
Okay, sir. ठीक.
तो हाइलाइट्स तो आई थिंक हाइलाइट शुड सफाइस, बाकी तो इतना सारा आप ठीक ही कह रहे हैं.
Major
कहाँ इतना
chapters.
टाइम नहीं होगा ना आपके
Yes,
पास.
sir.
Don't have time.
टाइम नहीं होगा, लेकिन जितना मालूम हो उसका थोड़ा एनालिसिस जरूर दिमाग में कर लेना.
Critical analysis.
Okay, sir.
थैंक
All the very best.
All good wishes.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you.
You will come out with flying colors.
Ah.
Okay.
Thank you.
all the best.
Thank you.